Hello everyone, Scott here again. Welcome back to Hyperbole. I just saw Godzilla, the 2014 Godzilla that is, not the 98 one, not the 54 one, the American one. I can go on at length about this movie, and probably will someday. It's very different from the 98 one. The 98 one was overly silly because that's what they thought Godzilla movies need to be, so they didn't really take it seriously, which was one of the many problems. This one they treat Godzilla dead serious, and yet know what they're doing in making a Godzilla, so it is still fun at the same time. That kind of Pacific Rim balance of they take it seriously, but we're not supposed to. That balance. It's here, but it's more serious. It is much more serious. Great cast, however we lose some early, and the ones we're left with aren't great. Cranston and Watanabe are awesome. Taylor Johnson and Olsen's barely in it. Taylor Johnson suffers from Jai Courtney, Sam Worthington syndrome. He's this very generic, bland kind of guy, which works as a military type, but yeah, it's flawed. Overall, the movie is a bunch of cock teases. Which is to be expected somewhat to make us want to see Godzilla, and it does that beautifully. Except we get the expected one, and then we see like clips of a fight, and it's kind of cool. It's like, okay, you got me. I can't wait till the next part when we see it. But they do another cock tease, and then another one. It's like, oh, just get on with it. The main thing with movies like this and movies like Transformers and these types of movies is where I want to see the things fight. There's always that human element that does have to be there. I've gone on length about that with Alien and Predator kind of things. They do need to be there to an extent. And here it's good. It is good. It's not bad in any way. Outside of some glaring flaws when you really start thinking about it. But again, it's Godzilla. And you're not supposed to really think about it. So there is that. But the other part of it though is that is just way, way, way too much of it. There's so much of the human element in it. It's a story about people dealing with this freak of nature. And I get that, because that's what they set out to do. That's what the original Gojira was. But at this point, we want to see it, especially when the movie itself is saying, let them fight. It literally is a missed opportunity in really delivering on what it's promised. It promised Godzilla. Like, most of the trailers show Godzilla wrecking stuff. We want to see that, and we didn't get enough of it. But what we did get is awesome. It is worth seeing theatrically for that, because it's not outright bad at all. I wouldn't say that whatsoever. It's a hard recommendation, to be fair. It is a very hard recommendation. I do recommend it if you're going to see it in the theater. But from my experience with movies that you know that I like, I really don't see myself watching it again outside of the 15-20 minutes that Godzilla's in it. The rest of it is just there. It's not bad, but it's not standout good either. It's just bland, kind of flawed when you really put logic into it, but still well done. And the Godzilla stuff's awesome with the monsters. So if you want to see Godzilla wreck stuff, go in knowing that there's going to be some delays. And forgive me, I'm tired. It's late. But go in knowing you're going to get some delays on Godzilla himself and some cock teases, but it's going to make you want to see Godzilla. And when you do, it's great. Super awesome, good, fun stuff with him in it. So there you go. That's a quick thing on Godzilla. I don't do ratings on Hyperbole. I say if you should see it or not. If you are even remotely interested in seeing it, absolutely do. I'm not a big Godzilla fan. I like the idea of it, but I never liked the old movies. They were stupid. They were too goofy. The 98 one I was excited about, but we all know what happened there. So this one I was like, oh, whatever, could be good, could be good. Then the new trailers, the newest one with Let Them Fight, was like, okay, I'm on board. Let's do this. And it kind of let me down on what I was expecting out of it, because I was expecting more. I was expecting that they'd let them fight, and we only really get it in the climax and in the late third act. So it is a bit disappointing in that regard, especially considering we get to see the other monster quite a bit. So we don't care about that one. We want this one. But alas. If you're curious about it and want to see a Godzilla movie, yeah, definitely. If you like Godzilla, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's hard for me to outright not recommend it, but if you just want to see Godzilla wreck stuff or monsters fighting, You're going to get some awesome stuff for part of it, but it's like a fifth of the movie, or a quarter of the movie that you get with that. So take it with a grain of salt. It is definitely worth seeing in the theater. If you're going to see it, outright do it. But that's it for this one. I mean, it's quick and dirty. It's worth seeing, but it's a hard recommendation. It really is. And yet I keep thinking to myself, yeah, it's good, it was fun. I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed the bits that I enjoyed. The Godzilla parts were great, and I enjoyed the hell out of them. And they almost make up for the fact that he wasn't in the majority of it. It's that good. And the parts where he's not in it, again, aren't outright bad. They're good, but there you go. So thanks, guys. We're going to be having a few here. I skipped Amazing Spider-Man. I still might check that out this weekend, so I might have that one up shortly. Godzilla 2000, I reviewed episode 57. Check that out. X-Men month is on now with number 58. X-Men The Last Stand just came out at 59. Is X-Men Origins Wolverine. That's coming up. The belated, overrated from April is coming shortly as well. It's a long weekend here in Canada, so that's coming up. And of course, the trailer fest for this month is as well, because it's X-Men month, so what better thing to do than Days of Future Past. Also, coming up, though, will be more Hyperbole, because like I said, I'll probably do Amazing Spider-Man 2. Next week is X-Men, Days of Future Past. The week after that is A Million Ways to Die in the West. And I believe either that same week or the week after, we have How to Train Your Dragon 2. And I know 22 Jump Street's in June, so it's really starting to pick up now with movies. So there'll be more Hyperboles, definitely. So yeah, check those out. If you're interested, just come see what I think. I do record these as soon as I see them, usually the late show, so they'll be up for a Saturday review if you want to check it out. And yeah, stay tuned for X-Men month.